All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Today I want to take a look at some flood variations, all right? Flood play or variations of flood play have been around for a long time in every offense, several different ways to get to it. So today I just want to look at 2 or 3 different ways that people are getting to the flood, what the flood play is if you're not familiar with it, and talk about it a little bit from there. Make sure you check out some of our partners, Dome Hats, headwear company we use with Play Fast Football and the school that I'm currently at. They have an online custom hat builder that you can use to generate your own hat, so you can build your own hat with your own logo for your school, business, yourself personally, whatever it is. You can build your colors, your logo, change the style of the hat, change whether it's snapback, Velcro, fitted. Everything is completely custom. Every hat has a story. Make sure you check out Dome so you have them help tell the story of your hat. Baker Sporting Goods, all right, it's a local sporting goods company. They did our Play Fast Football Clinic shirts last year. They do my Spirit Pack stuff. They do my coach's gear. We get our uniforms from them. Anytime we're going to have an online store for fans or players, we use Baker Sporting Goods, so make sure you check them out. Just Play Football, a more powerful presentation. I use it as my software for play drawing tools when I speak at clinics, or I do webinars, or I do anything for my Patreon site that involves diagrams. I am always going to use Just Play. It's also a powerful way to get your information, your playbook, and your game plans across to your players. They have a lot of really cool, neat features like quizzes, so you can really find out what your players know about your playbook or the game plan. So make sure you check out Just Play. GameStrat, sideline replay system we use at the high school that I'm currently at. If you're looking for a highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system with great customer service, make sure you check out GameStrat. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. We have one that we use in the off-season in our weight room. Elbows in, thumbs up, work on all the finer points of striking. Different coils that change the resistance as the kids get stronger, bigger, older, better at striking. You can change the resistance in the coils. Thousands of reps. You don't need a partner. Check out DifferenceUSA. HighandTight ball security training aid we use with our players. It's got different panels that have different pressure points, all right, sensors in the panel, so you have to hold the ball correctly in the right position with the wrist above the elbow, all the points of pressure from the forearm, the rib cage, up near the chest. Everything needs to be held, all right, securely with the right points of pressure. When you have the ball held correctly, you'll hear a beep. When you hear the beep, you know that the ball's in the right position, so you are building that muscle memory, all right, so guys know how to hold a football. As soon as you get away from that in one form or another, you're not going to hear a beep. Now they know that I can't hold the ball like this, all right, like that. It's got to be held high and tight the proper way, so make sure you check out HighandTight. All right, so most of you are probably familiar with the flood play. It's a 3-level variation, usually, all right, with something deep, intermediate, all right, and a flat route. All right, so it's normally referred to as a strong side flood or a weak side flood, or it could be a flood in the middle of the field, but it's basically just a high-low concept where you're working the top of a route or the top of a coverage off to an intermediate route to an underneath flat route. You can do it off bootleg, waggle stuff. You can do it off sprint out. You can do it right here. I've got it drawn up out of drop back. So right here, I've got drawn up the original simplest way to run it. 1 could be on go or skinny post. Either way, that's fine. 2's on the 12-yard sail. The old air raid people, or you'd hear them talk about Y sail, or it's a version of, it's that play in general. It's a flood theory. Okay, and then 3 would be, all right, the low part in the flat. But what you're starting to see now is the simple variations of flood from all sorts of different formations and different looks, trying to get different players the ball and then working it against different coverages. So obviously if you're getting some type of zone coverage where you are going to put a high-low on one player, and if they take away one route, you're going to deliver the ball to another route, and you're going to try and make it to where the spacing of the routes, that player can't cover both. Normally that defensive player would choose to cover deeper, rally to shorter. All right, but then you're also trying to take advantage of every coverage you might see. So you're starting to see some variations now where people are working some things in there to either A, beat man coverage, or B, start to get their best players the ball. Okay, so one of the variations I've seen, okay, is I have seen 1 on the whip route. Okay, so I've seen 1 on the whip coming inside like a snag or a pivot and then returning to the flat. I've seen 2 on the rub, high part, skinny or vertical, and then I've seen 3 on the Y sail. All right, so obviously we've got to make sure we've got the right spacing between 1 and 3 on the return of the pivot or the sail route. We've got to make sure 12 to 14. This route can't get deeper than 4 or 5. Got to make sure we have good spacing there. Now we're working a slight rub. All right, so we're working at that slight rub now, where we are trying to get, if it's possible man coverage, we're trying to get that rub pick action going here with the release All right, and then if it's some type of, a lot of times this can be done from a condensed or a stacked or a formation where you might get a trade-off, and now when you work the outside wheel, you get it traded off to the corner, and then you come back to the skinny. Okay. Again, I haven't talked about the backside or the back. You can do a lot of different things with the backside and the back. I'll incorporate the back in a minute. Right now I got the backside drawn up on post route, but you could probably have some choice deals going to the X where if coverage is rotated hard to the trip side and you get one-on-one, you could have comebacks back here, post corners. You could have all kind of one-on-one type deals where if this is your dude, a lot of times if that's your best dude to that side, then you may have the flood play called strong, but certain coverages might alert your quarterback to say, hey, let's go win back there. So right now I just got it drawn up as post. It's probably drawn up a little bit more like glance right now, but that's supposed to be post. I know it should probably be deeper. It was a quick drawing because I want to focus on the flood side. So you get this little switch, rub, trying to get either a man-to-man deal with a rub or maybe trying to get a concept where they switch off coverage and now the inside route going out comes back inside. Okay? I've seen it with 2 and 3. All right, in some red zone stuff. I've seen it with 2 and 3 trying to get the rub. I've seen it where 1 is that kind of skinny post. I've seen 2 running to kind of whip return, and I've seen 3, all right, running a wheel kind of rail. Now, that breaks some of the flood principles, all right, so I think sometimes you might be able to get it to where, you know, you can get 1 to run some type of route that will equivocate the intermediate part since you're going to get, all right, that route, you can make that wheel off the rub, a bench route, and bring it there. So now, when you go skinny by 1, you've got the top, the intermediate, and the lower part. But again, you're trying to get, if 3's your dude, you're trying to get that rub. And one of the times I saw this, it was more of a red zone deal where they were trying to get that rub there, all right, and recreate it that way by throwing, the intermediate route became this wheel because it was, you know, 15-yard line in, so the ball wasn't going to be thrown 40 yards down the field. So it was kind of top off, intermediate on the wheel, and then, you know, the pivot return, however you want to label that route. All right, but again, trying to get your best players the ball, trying to get some rubs, some switch ups, some different, all right, things for the defense to look at. I've seen some teams flood it, depending on the coverage and what they're trying to get. I've seen some teams flood it with the back 4 strong, and I've seen some teams go double post to attack that coverage. I've seen 3 on the sail with the back pushed, all right, to the flare. As long as you can protect it, you know, it's something that you're probably drawing up based on a game plan, what you like, how you see it, what you like in coverage. Okay, so I've seen it from 4 strong where you've gotten double post front side, 3 on the sail route, and then the flat route or the flat control is done by the back. So I've seen it that way also. I've seen it 2 back play action, and I've seen it become a weak side flood out of 2 back play action. And again, these are all things that I have seen run from different people. We've tried before. Okay, the good thing to me about the flood play is it's kind of endless how you want to get those combinations, what formations, condensed splits, motions. You know, it's kind of endless how you can do it because you're really just looking for 3 components. You know, you're looking for a high, an intermediate, and a low, flood in that zone. So I've seen it done with play action. Okay, where it's possibly, you know, depending on the protection. Again, protection is always going to be the utmost of, you know, the paramount of how you're doing things. So I've seen it done where there's a play action inside zone fake here, and now maybe on the front side, this back has to dual read inside to outside. I've seen this back push post snap to create the flood. I've seen burst corner from there with wide kind of that cross or climb, backside post, or I've even seen it with backside dig. But you're trying to create now over here, you're trying to create weak flood. So now off the play action, off the inside zone fake, now you're trying to create a weak flood where you're trying to get the burst corner to time up and get the high part. You're trying to get the cross, which takes a little bit longer, all right, to get into that window to be the intermediate part, and then the back, coming from the backfield, goes out there to be, all right, the low part. Okay, you could, you know, you could technically, and I know this is probably in quote-unquote air raid speak, Y cross stuff, I know this is probably, some people might like it, some people might not, but if you were 2x2 running Y cross, I would essentially think that you are, all right, you're probably running some version of a weak side flow. You may not talk to your quarterback about it that way. I don't know. I'm not an air raid guy, so I don't know. I don't have the handshake. I'm not in the cult. I don't have the handshake. I don't know the terminology, but I know just from an offensive standpoint and from a defensive standpoint, all right, if you took this route and made it there, you took this route and went bubble, you took that route and brought it over there, okay, you are recreating, albeit a little bit later, not as quick as a front side 3x1 or not as quick as getting 3 to the front side because it's coming from the back side, but you're kind of recreating that weak side flood action by now going vert, Y cross, all right, bubble, flare, flat, whatever you want to do. Some people run it off of speed out there. All right, but you're just recreating the theory of flood by putting a deep route, an intermediate route, and a flat route or a low route all on the same side of the field. So these routes all occur on that outside third of the field out there, so you're flooding it high to low. All right, you could flood the middle of the field, you could flood the other third of the field. And the great part about it with your quarterback, depending on protection or who your quarterback is, this could be thrown from the pocket, this could be thrown off a sprint action, or this could be thrown off of play actions and boots. Okay, so if your quarterback is a mobile guy that you want on a run, use this as a sprint out or a boot theory. Okay, normally now, the boot theory you've always seen for years in boot waggle theories, that backside crosser, because if this was done off of some type of action, so let's just say this was done off of some type of action, and you come back, if you can get linebackers to come this way, a lot of times that route gets lost behind there. So that route has always been good in bootleg stuff. All right, bootleg stuff most of the time, even if it's going to be some type of seal, pin, if this was 2 back, you may get some type of look here where it's a pin, 1001, 1002, release to the flat, and now you create the flood that way with the quarterback moving out. If your quarterback's a guy that you like on the move, you can run straight sprint out. Okay, down by the goal line, you'll see it a lot, or inside, short yardage, you'll see sprint out to that low flat route, try to get some picks and some rubs. But off of the pick and the rub, you can build the wheel, you can build other things in. So as you sprint out, you have other options, or you can just throw it as a drop back theory from the pocket. So to me, not only is it a great theory to get guys open versus a lot of different zone concepts, it can be good versus man stuff, because now you've just got to build in some different formations, maybe some condensed, some stacked, some motion, build some rubs in, and get guys back to the same place you want to get them in the flood theory, just not by the traditional route means. So whether it be some type of wheel, some type of wheel bench route to get them to the intermediate part with the skinny over the top and a flat route, try and create rubs, picks, all right, whatever you can do. Like I said, if you do it from stack and you kind of run some type of burst route, and some type of burst out route with some type of outside back to skinny post, and now the corner and safety are trading routes off, and then when they trade off, you're bringing the routes back to where they originally were. Okay, you can do it from condensed sets, you can do it with motion, anything to get the eyes of the defense, all right, looking at some different things, threaten the defense in different ways while still keeping things really simple for your quarterback. Read it top down, read it top to bottom. You got the shot over the top first, take it. If not, progress down. What's in that window, high to low, intermediate out to flat route. Easy throws for the QB, relatively easy to read. If you don't like the protection, make it sprint out or boot. Okay, so flood variations and flood concepts have been around forever in football. Every offense I know of uses them. If you go back to your true greatest wing T teams, they would run buck waggle, and it was a pain in the neck to stop, and the buck waggle ended up the same thing. You had something deep, something coming across, fullback into flat. Flood theories have been around in every offense, every system, every theory. You're going to see them at the NFL, you're going to see them in college, you're going to see them in high school, you're going to see them in Pop Warner. It's one of those plays that is just, all across the landscape, every level of football. It's not too complicated for any level, but at the same time, it's not too cheap and mundane for any level. You can get to it a million different ways, and when you watch the college and the NFL game, they create all these fancy ways to get to it. And, like I said, different formations, different looks, different shade, shifts, trades, and motions. Getting back to the same thing, putting guys in those 3 spots for the quarterback to read, but just getting a little bit funky with how they're doing it, right? So hopefully that helps you with some flood variations, working on some different things to change up your regular flood looks if you run flood. Again, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you become a subscriber. Make sure you turn the notifications on so you know every time we do a video, or we go, if I do anything live, which I'll probably be doing sometime early this week, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll be on YouTube Live. Make sure you leave thumbs up, thumbs down. You like it, don't like it. Lets us know what we need to do with the content and how to provide a better experience for you guys. And as always, leave me a comment if I see your comment. I always respond to it. And if it's got something to do with the video and I think I can do the video or do the topic justice, I'll try and do a video on that as well. All right, so thanks for everything you guys do for Play Fast Football. Stay safe out there. If your season's coming up and you're going to get a chance to play, fingers crossed, God bless you. Do everything you need to do. It's possible. We played in Florida. We had to jump through a lot of hoops, but I played 10 games with my team. Other teams played 13, 14. Teams won a state title or state championship in Florida, so it's possible. Jump through the hoops. Do what they tell you to do. Let's get this thing back to normal, all right? As always, guys, you won't play well until you play fast, and I'll see you next time.